All right, welcome back, everybody. It is Thursday, July 30th, 2020. The NBA making its coronavirus return today, and it's a big King James ritual. So I want to make sure you guys are caught up on all the patterns. If you become aware of the numbers I'm going to talk about in this video, it's going to help you out with your own sports decoding. And I've been telling a lot of people recently to just follow the Jesuit numbers, which I'll make sure you understand by the end of this video, because they're popping up everywhere in the sports events that are taking place, and they're coming through and they're helping people win money. Big Al's been killing it with UFC, as have others. So let's talk about why the NBA is returning today. Some of you might have caught my video from when they announced that the NBA was going to return on July 31st. We covered that then. Since then, they've added this doubleheader tonight, July 30th. And the doubleheader is the Jazz. Of course, the Jazz, remember the team where supposedly Rudy Gobert tested positive for the virus. And of course, the team that Kobe Bryant finished his career against and Michael Jordan won a championship against. But we have the Jazz facing Zion Williamson and the Pelicans. And then we have the Clippers and Lakers game that was canceled after Kobe Bryant's death, the makeup game. And just in terms of familiar patterns, we'll see if it comes through tonight, but a very consistent number with the Utah Jazz historically is the number 14. If a team can pick up their 14th win or 14th loss against Utah, it typically happens. So I just see that the Pelicans can get their 14th home win tonight. Again, if you are new here, I imagine that there's a lot of veterans around, but just in case you're new, I'm just going to pull up the calculator. And let me make sure everything's coming through. Okay, let me double check all the settings, make sure everyone's hearing everything. Okay, I think we're good. Okay, and if you guys are trying to call in right now, just give me a minute. I will open up the phone lines to take your calls. But if you're new here, Gematria. Out of these four ciphers, when it comes to sports, they're all important. But if you could only use one cipher, the one cipher you would want to take is the alphabetic order with the rules numerology. And in that cipher, Utah is 14. And these other numbers do play with Utah rituals, but most consistent number with Utah, definitely 14. So it does stand out that in the NBA's return, and in a way, nobody really has a home game anymore because all these games are being played in Florida, but it is considered a home game. And the Pelicans can pick up that 14th home win over Utah, so that does stand out. And then in the LA game, notice the Lakers are 23-8 at home. That's Kobe Bryant's birthday, August 23rd. Day Kobe was born, August 23rd, 23/8. Let me double check. I think this is correct. Let me check something real quick. Eagle, Colorado. Yeah, Eagle, Colorado, 238. It's also 59-67 like Black Mamba. It's also 113 like Kobe Bryant. That's supposedly where he raped the woman years ago when he ended up making it up to his wife, buying her the big ring. But anyway, it just stands out that the Lakers are 23-8 at home. Today's a span of 187 days from Kobe's death. And if the Lakers did win tonight, they would be 24-8 at home, which are the Kobe Bryant jersey numbers. And if the Lakers did win, the Clippers would pick up their 21st loss. And in the most pure cipher, Lakers is 21. So in all probability, that's what should happen in the Lakers game. I've been saying since LeBron signed with the Lakers that this was going to be his year because he was going to turn 35 years old this year, which he is. And the most pure cipher, King James, is 35. Today, the NBA is returning on the day, leaving 154 days left in the year. So a King James return, the Battle of Los Angeles. You might recall at the start of the NBA season, there was the advertising campaign. Kawhi Leonard, I can't remember what the car was for, or I can't remember if it was a car commercial or what it was for, but Kawhi Leonard driving like an old convertible in LA, and he's got a keychain with a crown on it. And they're like, oh, what are they trying to say with that? Kawhi Leonard's the new king of LA. But you got Kawhi and LeBron tonight, the day leaving 154 days left in the year. And again, we've seen these King James 154 patterns over the years. But LeBron 35 right now in this perfect return. on the day leaving 154 days left in the year. Remember when he beat the Warriors in the NBA Finals on the real King James's birthday, June 19th, when they came back from down 3-1? The Warriors lost that game with 89 points, King James 89. That's why you got to know these ciphers. His first year, 2018-19 season, they did a huge ritual with King James in 55. So again, you want to be aware of all the numbers, but the one that's the most important, that dark blue one. So King James return, King James Day. Here's what I want to warn of. If the Lakers lost tonight, which would surprise me a little bit, but if they lost, there's actually two things I could say about it. If they lost, they would become 23-9 at home. 239, the 52nd prime. California 52, number of prophecy 52. It has a lot to do with Philadelphia's history. So if the Lakers lost, again, the flag was sewn in Philly at 239 Arch Street, the ritual with LeBron passing Kobe in Philadelphia, Kobe's hometown, the day before Kobe died. If that happened, I'll tell you what I would be worried about. If the Lakers lose tonight, what I would be worried about is that the riddle does run through Kobe Bryant and maybe even through his father, who's still alive. Because let me show you something about Kobe Bryant's father real quick. Joe Bryant stats. I just want you to see this real quick. And again, he was drafted by the Warriors and traded to Philadelphia right away, his father. Remember, Kobe Bryant equals 41. His father was drafted 41 years by the Warriors before Kobe retired 41 years later. But his dad got traded to Philadelphia. But you see how he played for the San Diego Clippers? That's the same Los Angeles Clippers franchise. So Kobe's father actually played for the Clippers. I realized that during the intermission. I thought, And the reason I even just started to speculate on the Clippers a little bit is because, remember, we'll come up on this, the advertising campaign for the 74th NBA season is the codes we live by. The codes we live by, which in the most pure cipher is 74. This is their advertising campaign this year. And it's all about area codes. And in the commercial for the NBA's The Codes We Live By, they designate the 213 area code with the Clippers and the 323 area code with the Lakers. And 213, they've used that ritual with LeBron in the NBA Finals before. So even though they did that in the commercial, I'm not going to say that means. Again, I'd have to. If the Clippers won tonight, I would consider. I would consider that possibility. But again, I think this is about Kobe and LeBron's year and the King James year. So again, I always like to show both sides of the argument. But that Kobe ritual is right there. 24-8. Them getting the 21st loss against the Lakers. It makes a lot of sense. If they did get their 14th away loss, the Clippers, LA, the bigger number we talk about with LA is 13, but sometimes 14 does play in LA. So you have this return. They can get their 14th away loss in the Battle of LA, coming in with 13 losses already. And the reason 13 is normally the number that plays in LA is because LA is also 41, the 13th prime, just like how Kobe died in LA at 41 and his daughter supposedly at 13. You add their ages together, 54. Kobe Bryant's 41. Kobe Bean Bryant's 54. Gianna Bryant's 54. So, again, usually you stick with the surface level, the consistent, you do well. The things that come through the most, from what I know from observing this over the years, is the Jazz in 14 plays, so the Pelicans getting that 14th home win makes sense. Lakers giving the Clippers the 21st loss in the Kobe Bryant tribute, that makes sense. And I want to go back and revisit some other things. Before I talk more about basketball, I just also want to throw out, I just scanned baseball real quick. And I just scanned the baseball games, and I should probably scan it again real quick, but I just did a real fast scan, and as soon as my eyeballs hit this game right here, I was like, look at that. Again, this isn't a good payout for the Yankees, but a really consistent number with Baltimore is 41. Baltimore's 41 in the most pure cipher. Those of you who were with us last year, you might recall early in the season there was the series between the Athletics and Baltimore, and we could see how all 4 games of that series were going to go, and it was a big 41 ritual. But Baltimore and 41, always a big number with Baltimore. And the Yankees could become 4-1 on the season and 4-1 away by defeating Baltimore. And Baltimore also has the 95 connection. And in case you missed the video I just did on Gerrit Cole, I just want to make sure you guys caught that ritual, because it has everything to do also with this shortened MLB regular season, which will end on the day leaving 95 days left in the year, which is the day the Jesuits were recognized by Rome, September 27th. But at this Yankees-Nationals game on July 23rd to start the season, you had Anthony Fauci throw out the first pitch, which was embarrassing. And there's a lot here, but this is the part I really want you to understand. Anthony Fauci, his name Fauci equals 95. He's a Jesuit. The Jesuits were recognized by Rome on the day leaving 95 days left in the year to counter the 95 Theses by Martin Luther, not to be confused with Martin Luther King Jr., who was assassinated on the 95th day of the year. But this number 95 with the Jesuits is huge. Fauci's a Jesuit. Not only does his name equal 95, but his birthday, Christmas Eve, 1940, has 95 date numerology. But the day he threw out the first pitch, Gerrit Cole comes in and picks up his 95th career win in his debut with the Yankees, who are the most Jesuit team in sports. And not only that, but Gerrit Cole had signed in the offseason on December 11th. His birthday is September 8th, so he signed on his 95th day of his age. Again, New York Yankees, they have that overlap with Society of Jesus. Those are the Jesuits. This game where he got the 95th win was in the Jesuit stronghold, Washington, D.C. You see how it's got all the alignment. And it was also on Gerrit Cole's 320th day of his age. Roman Catholic Church is 320. We've been talking about how this new MLB season is synced up with the killing of George Floyd and the Twins in the Twin Cities during the time of Gemini, the Twins. And remember, George Floyd was pulled out of the ML 320 and killed in front of Police Cruiser 320. So, again, all this stuff is synced up. And just like I speculated then, that same day as the George Floyd story, you had the twin story of Amy Cooper choking her dog while calling the police on a black man in New York. And I was like, this could be it right here. They could be telling us Twins, Yankees for maybe the ALCS. So, again, these are the same numbers. And by the way, Minneapolis Police is another 187. But 320 days, his 320th day of his age. And then not only that, but the day this happened, July 23rd, the day in history that Jordan's father died, it's the day that they recognized the heliacal rising of Sirius, the dog star, the brightest star in the sky. And Sirius has that gematria of 95. And heliacal rising equals 251, which is the 54th prime, and baseball's 54. This is when they had their season start, so realize this is all part of the ritual. Plus, Gerrit Cole's birthday is September 8th, the 251st day of the year. So, I mean, you couldn't have scripted it any better. And this is what we've been talking about for months, that the Jesuits are running the show. Well, for years we've been talking about how the Jesuits run sports, but now we see they're running the whole show. They're running everything. The coronavirus, the George Floyd, the Black Lives Matter, the sports, it's them. So, anyway, they put their Jesuit stamp on this season in a big way, which came as no surprise because we'd already pointed out that the MLB season was scheduled to end September 27th, which it will, which is the day leaving 95 days left in the year. And that's the day the Jesuits were recognized by Rome. And remember, they originally announced that the NBA season was going to begin July 31st before adding today's doubleheader. And July 31st is the day that Ignatius of Loyola, the founder of the Jesuits, died in history. So, huge Jesuit ritual there with the Yankees. And I think it's very probable the Yankees and the Twins meet in the ALCS. I still need to do some more work on that. But again, in light of a lot of the baseball scheduling being structured with George Floyd, remember, Minneapolis Minneapolis and LA have the sports connection because the Lakers, who are originally from Minneapolis, they went down to LA. And we saw the viral image of the George Floyd protester in the purple Lakers jacket. in light of, the way they sync these things up in the web of rituals, again, this is going to be got to make a point here, in case you didn't hear me make it before. This baseball season will end with the 116th World Series. And we just had the 100th NFL season where, again, before it even began, ESPN called it the Year of the Black Quarterback, and 3 black quarterbacks took top honors: League MVP, Super Bowl MVP, Offensive Player of the Year. So that was the 100th NFL season. Now we have the 116th World Series. Remember, we just saw Patrick Mahomes sign the $400+ million deal on 7-6, like Acts 7-6, 400 years. And now we saw the headline in recent days of Mookie Betts, who got sent to the Dodgers, Jackie Robinson's team. I don't think it's happened yet. I'm waiting to see the announcement, but the conversation of a $400+ million contract. And again, back in, I think it was January, February, it was while I was in New Orleans, there was the 42 ritual story of Mookie Betts even going to the Dodgers in the first place. So if this is the riddle, if it's about this, 400 years still, the African-American theme, LA with the best black baseball player, Mookie Betts, and if they're going to bring it together through pretty much it's hard to say. Is George Floyd the news story of the year, or is it coronavirus? I guess it's both. But Twins, LA, that's very possible. And think about how they continue one sports season off the next. Last year, the Nationals won the World Series, and the old Washington, D.C. team, the Washington Senators, they became the Minnesota Twins. So there'd be a link between the Twins ending up in the World Series after the Nationals won it last year. And we're going to do more research on that. But again, I'm just getting these ideas out here because, again, it's all about news and sports. And once you connect the riddle right, you have it. And you don't overthink it, because that's what we've done. In recent times, I've been overthinking. Last year before the NFL season began, we had it right from the beginning. Our first thought was, it looks like the Chiefs are going to win the Super Bowl. They did. And we started overthinking along the ways, and it created some trouble. But in light of the web of things and knowing our Jesuit numbers, again, all these sports are going to be connected this year. They're all going to be connected off the same themes. And with regards to Minneapolis being central, remember, Super Bowl 55 is upcoming. Minneapolis is 55. And if you type in Minnesota Vikings, it's 201. And again, George Perry Floyd's 201. And a lot of things have been 201 this year, because that is a huge number of the Jesuits. We're living in the time of the first Jesuit Pope, who lives in Suite 201 at the Vatican, whose birth name is 201, like the founder of the Jesuits' name is 201, like the Jesuit Order's 201. So the Vikings are an interesting team to consider this year. And right now, my initial instinct on the NFL is that we're going to see a rematch of last year's playoff matchup between the 49ers and Vikings, but this year for the NFC Championship. And again, that might factor in with last year's NFL season as well, because the Chiefs beat the 49ers in the Super Bowl after the 49ers beat the Vikings, and the last time the Chiefs ever won the Super Bowl was by defeating the Vikings in Super Bowl IV. So, again, we got to know our Jesuit numbers, and we're going to talk more about that. Before I get to the Jesuit number list, which we're slowly going through, I want to come back to, also yesterday, I hope you guys won on this one. I've been talking all year about, remember July 29th, International Tiger Day, Tigers everywhere. If you would have bet on the Tigers when they were down 4-0 in the top of the third, man, that would have been a nice payout. But again, it was a given that the Detroit Tigers were going to win on International Tiger Day, a day we've been circling all year. Again, this is what it's about, understanding the riddles, knowing the dates of the years, how these games are scripted. The Tigers come through and win 5-4 like baseball's 54. But here's what I want to go back to. The NBA's return date. The NBA has its target return date July 31st. So they came back, they said it was going to be July 31st, the day in history that Ignatius of Loyola, the founder of the Jesuits, died. Remember 317 and the Kobe Bryant Memorial on February 24th? If not, I'll go back and show it to you again. Or I guess I'll just do it real quick. So again, the majority of teams do return tomorrow on 317, and 317 is the 66th prime. We're going to get to how this number was coded all over Kobe's memorial, but it was on a date with 66 numerology. They told the story of how Kobe Bryant learned to play Moonlight Sonata on the piano in a short period of time, which is a very difficult song. Again, Lakers, LeBron James, all 66. Kobe went to Lower Merion, 66. Michael Jordan shed a lot of tears for the Bulls. And the name of the event was a celebration of life. Kobe and Gianna Bryant, 317. And they hired Jimmy Kimmel, born November 13th, the 317th day of the year, to host it. And Jimmy Kimmel even said while he was hosting, he's like, I have no idea why you guys picked me for this event. It was all about the 317, the 66th prime. And again, when the NBA announced it was returning, they said it would be July 31st or 31/7. So that was one thing to remember. And again, as a reminder, from the NBA season start October 22nd to the day it was suspended March 11th, that was its 142nd day. Coronavirus is 142. Their target return date was 142 days later. That means today's a span of 142 days from when it was suspended. Tomorrow will be 142 days after it was suspended. Just like how we saw NASCAR return on the 142nd day of the year on May 21st. And 521's the 98th prime, and the number 98 car won, and the driver's name equaled 98. And it was reported a few days before he won the race that his child had just died. Kind of how it works in this world of rigged sports. So you had that coronavirus ritual. They also had the golf tournament with Tiger and Mickelson, and Tiger won that. And the name of the tournament, whatever they named it, was 142. The name Mickelson's also 142, but Tiger had that Tiger connection, which has the 201 connection, which has been huge this year. Just like the horse race, the jockey with the 201 name took it. There's been some more. Okay, so we were pointing out that July 31st, their target date, in a leap year, it becomes the 213th day of the year, 213, like the LA area code. It's, in a way, it almost feels like they should have saved this Battle of LA for July 31st, but you see why they did it today. Today leaves 154 days left in the year, King James 154. And tomorrow will leave 153 days left in the year. Again, Jesuit order is 153. 153 is the 17th triangular number. NBA 17. If the Lakers do win the finals this year, they would tie the Celtics at 17 championships apiece. I know Arthur at Simple Truth TV likes the Lakers and Celtics finals right now. He's doing it through Jack Welch. And that's possible. I got to give Arthur his credit. He did call it last year during the Eastern Conference Finals that the Raptors were going to win the finals. He saw how it was synced through Drake, which was a really good observation. And once he pointed it out, I was like, wow, that is really what they'd done. I'd forgotten about old Drake up in Toronto. But so Arthur's filling the Lakers and the Celtics. And I don't know if I've heard him say who he thinks is going to win that. But if that was the championship and the Lakers beat the Celtics, then they would both be tied at 17 games apiece. So it's a thought. But that's the thing about when they set that July 31st target date. And it was a date with 78 and 42 numerology as well. Big Jesuit numbers. Which, by the way, today means has 41 date numerology. Again, Kobe Bryant numbers. And again, 41's the 13th prime. If the Jazz lost today, they'd stay on 41 wins. I don't like staying on numbers. About the only thing that could make sense for the Jazz numerically in terms of beating the Pelicans is picking up the 42nd win, because NOLA, the four-letter name that New Orleans is commonly called, NOLA, is 42. Just like how LSU won with 42 points down there in the championship. But still, as consistent as 14 is in Utah games, that's what jumps out to me. Pelicans getting that 14th home win over Utah, so gonna watch for that tonight. But Again, from Kobe's death to July 31st is 187 days later. Society of Jesus 187, just like how they did that number with the Garrett Cole ritual. That means today is a span of 187 days from Kobe's death. And from July 31st to December 30th, which is LeBron's birthday, well, of course, it's a span of 153 days. That means that from today to his birthday is also a span of 154 days, like today leaves 154 days left in the year. Again, the King James number. And let's see. The initial target date from LeBron's last birthday, December 30th, to the target date of July 31st was 215 days, and that's the Philadelphia area code. So again, it's the 213th day of the year, and it's a span of 215 days from LeBron's birthday. And again, we're looking at this date because this is what the NBA came out and said initially that they were aiming to start the season at. So there's a riddle with that. And 213 LA area code, 215 Philadelphia area code, and I thought this was the post. Oh yeah, here it is. So here it is. Philadelphia area code's got the 215 in it. July 31st in the leap year, the 213 connecting to Los Angeles. The NBA's advertising campaign. You know what? Let's just watch it real quick in case you forget. Let me put it on here. Pretty sure I can show a commercial.
Nobody does basketball like the 212. Yo, facts. Nobody gets louder than the 215.
Period. The 713 is coming in hot.
Louder than the 214?
Nobody's colder than the 312.
What? Y'all wildin'. 310 is all about the rings. Right now, Showtime is in the 213.
The game we live for, the codes we live by.
That 213 would George Paul right there reminds of him and Leonard holding up the jerseys 2 and 13, like 213. The only way I could see the Clippers knocking off LeBron in the year of King James, which I really doubt, but it would just have to be through Kobe again because his father played for Philadelphia and the Clippers. And if that did happen, if it ended up being the Clippers instead of the Lakers, just as in case I'm wrong about it being LeBron and King James year, which I don't think I'm wrong about, but if it was, I think, and if it was the Clippers, I think they would have to play Philly, and it would have to be all about Kobe Bryant through his father. So, just to put that out there as a warning. By the way, they're finishing these games in Orlando, Florida, which has all the Jesuit numbers 144 and 72, just like Jesuit order. Jesuit order 54, like Kobe Bean Bryant. They're finishing the season in this Disney ESPN complex. Of course, Disney owns ESPN and ABC and all that, but ESPN's got the double 54 like Kobe Bean Bryant. The name of the complex where they're finishing the 74th NBA season, ESPN Wide World of Sports Complex, 373, the 74th prime. And let's see. The day that they made the announcement that they were targeting the July 31st return, that was 79 days from the suspension. Again, another Jesuit number also connecting to Orlando where they're finishing the season. And I wrote here from Kobe's February 24th memorial to the announcement of the return of the season was 95 days later. So we know what's up with 95 and the Jesuits. And let's see. It's also a span of 96 days connecting to Lakers and LeBron. That's why, I mean, it really does just seem so structured around LeBron, and it is, especially with today, the King James Day. And let me see. Again, the codes we live by equals 74. So this area codes related return target date, I really do wish they would have just started the season on July 31st. Would have made it even easier, but the King James tribute, not so bad. Codes of Culture is interesting, the 211, because today, July 30th, in a non-leap year, today's the 211th day of the year, the 47th prime. Black Mamba's 211. Black Mamba's also 59. So, Codes of Culture, it's got some Black Mamba in it. Kobe Bryant, biggest story of the year for the NBA. And I think there was a couple more things I meant to say about today's games. So this is going to be the 62nd game between the Jazz and the Pelicans. And I just noticed if it's all about Kobe, notice the Pelicans could get their 24th win over the Jazz. So I'm thinking, okay, again, today has the 41 date numerology, Kobe Bryant, 41. Could the Pelicans become part of this greater Kobe Bryant ritual? Can Kobe finish his career against Utah? And so far this year, the Pelicans are 1-2 against the Jazz. So if they beat them today, they would be 2-2 against the Jazz. Remember, basketball equals 22. Don't forget Zion Williamson made his NBA debut on the 22nd of January, and he scored 22 points. So if the Pelicans did win today, they'd be 2-2 against Utah. And Utah does have the 22 connection as well. I wouldn't put too much weight on that fact there. I like more that they can get that 14th home win. So that was one other thing that needed to be said about that. And the Lakers and Clippers, this will be the 224th regular season game. I see the Clippers are on 74 wins, and in light of how big 74's been, 74 is always big, but it is the 74th NBA season as well. So them staying on 74 wins against the Lakers in the 74th NBA season, that has some rhyme and reason to it. The Lakers are 1-2 versus the Clippers this year. The only thing that's concerning about that is that if they did lose this game, they'd be 1-3, that big LA number. But it doesn't have to be that way. They could just as easily become 2-2. Again, it is King James Day, let us not forget. And the word king itself has that Gematria 22. So, again, it's King James Day today because today leaves 154 days left in the year. Again, LeBron's 35 right now. So, staying on 74 wins in the 74th NBA season makes some sense. And just because I haven't, done any picks in a while, if I was coming in today just to get my confidence, I wouldn't put a lot down on it, but I'd probably come in with a $10, $20 parlay, and I'd just take 3 games. I'd take the Jazz, and I would take the Lakers, and I would take the Yankees, because I really like that 4-1 over Baltimore, as consistent as 41 is with Baltimore. So... And I'm sure there's some more here, but watch what the Twins do today, because as much as 52 plays with Minnesota, as much as the number 52 plays with Minnesota, they could easily be 5-2 by the end of their next 2 games. And in light of how big 62 was with George Floyd, remember Floyd equals 62, Minneapolis 62, Riot 62. The Twins getting to 6-2 this year, very probable. So, depending on what happens in today's game with the Twins, and if they did lose today, just for the record, if they lost today, I'm tripping. It's the word twin. If they lost today, they would be 4-2. And remember when 42-year-old Steven Jackson, the retired NBA player, came out and said that George Floyd was his twin and the killing was in May. There's only 2 months that have a 42 connection. One's May, and then George Floyd was killed on Memorial Day, which equals 181, which is the 42nd prime, like Black History is 181 and February is 42. But keep an eye on these Twins, because them getting to 5-2 and 6-2 is very probable. And hold on, let me look at Shane Bieber's stats real quick and Jose Barrios, because maybe the answer's there for what happens for today's game. It'd be nice to get 3 Twins games in a row right. Whoops, what did I just write? Shane Barrier's stats. I wrote his name wrong. What did I just write? Bieber. What am I writing? Barrier. Shane Bieber. Okay, hold on. Oh boy. Okie dokie. So, where's he at right now? So in his career, he is 27-13. Not sure about those numbers versus the Twins. 27-13. Yeah, I'm not sure though. Sometimes you get a nice alignment with the pitchers, and other times not so much. This scheduled win could be going to like a middle reliever or something, but yeah, I don't see a strong clue there with Bieber. Today does have 14 date numerology, but date numerology is not real good with pitcher records historically. And I meant to say that earlier about picking up the 14th win on the 14 date numerology against Utah. Again, you know, there's some rhyme and reason there with that. Yeah, I don't see it with Bieber's stats, unfortunately. And Barrios was the other guy. That's what happened to me. I was like combining Bieber and Barrios' name. Barrios is 43 and 34. Those aren't Cleveland numbers either, so yeah, I might let that one go today. But again, depending on what happens out of that game, I think we can probably get. Let me think about it. So if the Twins won today, I think it would be very probable that they lose tomorrow, man, because 52 in Minnesota is just so consistent. Again, I can't breathe as 52, and they've just done so many other rituals with 52 and George Floyd and Minnesota sports for all the time, so. If the Twins lost today, I would like them a lot tomorrow and in the next game. Again, 5-2 and 6-2 seem very probable, so I'm going to keep an eye on that. And I'm rusty because I haven't been decoding my sports, so I got to get back in the groove and recognize some of these other patterns that are hanging out here. Okay. Okie dokie. Okay, so other things I want to point out. Numbers to know, numbers that have been showing up in a really big way. I want you to remember these numbers because these numbers have been paying dividends for people who've been paying attention. I want you to remember the number 225, 225. And I just want to tell you how I caught on to this pattern. And it's been huge. It's been coming through like in every UFC fight. Every fight that we've seen since we recognized this pattern some months back, if there's been a 22-5 on the board, it's come through. And So watch for this with the 2-2-5, no matter what sport you're looking at. If you're seeing a pitcher come in and he's 21-5, I would bank on him becoming 22-5. If he's coming in 22-4, I'd bank on him becoming 22-5. If you see these numbers come together in any sports right now, they are on fire. And here's how I caught on to it. First, the first clue was this. This man right here, Adolfo Nicolas, whose name is 225, he was the Jesuit superior general who died on May 20th, the day leaving 225 days left in the year. And you see how his name's 54 and 72? So is Jesuit order, 54, 72, same ciphers. So that was the first thing we saw with 225, but then we really saw it with George Floyd. Because George Floyd supposedly died on his 225th day of his age, and then a day or two after that, the Minnesota Catholic Church came out and settled for $22.5 million for sexual abuse of children in Minnesota. So $22.5 million right after George Floyd dies on his 225th day of his age. And part of the simulation of Event 201, as well as Clade X, which were related, was civil unrest and protesting and rioting. And Event 201 lasted exactly 225 minutes. And then the other 225 thing that happened right around George Floyd just days before his death was a mainstream news story on May 22nd, 22/5, that the Federal Reserve was no longer going to debut the $20 Harriet Tubman bill. And then, George Floyd gets busted for supposedly a counterfeit $20 bill. So there was all this 225 stuff just everywhere. And now it just keeps showing up in the fights and elsewhere. So watch for this 225. And these other numbers, be aware of all the Jesuit numbers. Just in the time of right now with everything going on. Kobe Bean Bryant, 54, dead a week before Super Bowl 54. So watch for that. This Jesuit motto right here. for years, so this is something I just figured out recently. These are things I didn't know before, but for years I saw the number 172 and I didn't know what it meant. I was like, what's with 172? And I used to look at things like Michael Jordan's birthday, because Jordan's birthday's February 17th, 17/2, like 172. And I was like, okay, I know there's something to that number, but I have no idea what it means. And for years, I saw it come up and I never talked about it because I didn't know how to associate it, and I just wondered about Jordan. Remember when Tom Brady tied Michael Jordan in Super Bowls? The conversation began, who's the greatest GOAT? Because they both had the 6 championships. Remember in Super Bowl 53 where Brady tied Jordan, the only person who scored a touchdown in that game was Sony Michel, scoring the only touchdown in the 53rd minute of Super Bowl 53. But Sony Michel's birthday, 17/2. Well, the moment I knew that this number was for sure part of the Jesuits and I had to figure it out is just sometime back when they reported that Jeff Bezos, the CEO of Amazon, had set a new record in personal wealth at $172 billion. And that story came 172 days after his birthday. And I was like, okay, so he's like at the top of his game, like Jordan with the 172. And I was like, this is what it is. So I was just scanning through the mottos related to the Jesuits, and I was like, there it is, 172. And you'll notice that Jesuit motto does have the 100 and the 116. I think the Redskins just changed their name. Let me check to make sure this is right. I'm pretty sure the Redskins just changed their name 172 days after the Super Bowl. Let me see. And for those of you who are new here, you might not know that, we were explaining, the rituals with the Redskins and the Seahawks being the only teams to ever have black quarterbacks win the Super Bowl. Before the Chiefs won the Super Bowl with a black quarterback. And anyway, so the Super Bowl 54 was completely structured around Doug Williams, who was the first black quarterback to win a Super Bowl. And when they announced that they were thinking about changing their name on July 3rd, that was perfectly structured with Doug Williams as well. But yeah, from the day that the Super Bowl was played to the day that the Redskins made this announcement was 172 days later. And again, they're in Washington, D.C., which is the biggest Jesuit stronghold in the world in terms of a city outside of the Vatican. So this number 172, it's been hot in UFC too. Fighters becoming 17-2 has been popping. So the Jesuit numbers, just get in here and look at them. And when it comes to the Jesuit order, you want to know it with the Gematria of Jesuit order because all of these numbers matter in a big way. And you also want to know it with the in the front as well because all of these numbers matter just as much. Just as much right here. The Jesuit order, Jesuit order. And then, Society of Jesus, that's their other name. These numbers are all huge as well. So when that Superior General just died on May 20th, Adolfo Nicholas, he died on the 191st day of the current Superior General's age. And, notice that things like Superior General equal 84, just like Jesuit is 84. Adolfo Nicholas just died at age 84. Pope Francis is the first Jesuit Pope. He'll turn 84 later this year. He has 84 birth numerology. And if you write out the Jesuit order, it's also 84, just like if you write out the Catholic Church, it's 84. Again, LeBron James, born in 84, United States of America, 84. So again, get familiar with these Jesuit numbers. When you see them, they're really popping right now. And the Jesuit 21 connection could absolutely factor in with the Lakers. Don't forget that Kobe died while traveling from Catholic Mass in Jesuit Orders 54 in the same cipher as Kobe Bean Bryant and Gianna Bryant. And again, right before Super Bowl 54. And now in what looks like a game where it's, about the return of the season. And I'm sure there'll be something done for Kobe Bryant before this game's played tonight. I'm sure there'll be like a moment of silence for Kobe. They were doing those 33-second moment of silence earlier this year at games, Kobe 33. So again, it's hard to go against that 24-8 They come in 23-8, like Kobe's birthday is August 23rd. LA celebrates Kobe Bryant Day is August 24th. And speaking of which, that means that from today's game to August 24th is 25 days later, or a span of 26 days. And of course, we know Bryant equals 26. LeBron passed Kobe in points scored 26 days after his own birthday. And when Kobe passed Jordan in points scored, it was on December 14th, 12 plus 14, 26. Jordan 26, Bryant 26. Kobe passed Jordan 113 days after his own birthday. Michael Jordan 113, Kobe Bryant 113. He did it in Minneapolis, the original home of the Lakers. So, again, I got to go with the historical strong narratives. Pelicans get the 14th win over the Utah Jazz on the 14-date numerology, where Utah and 14 usually plays strong. And the Kobe Bryant numbers, and giving the Clippers the 21st loss. So if the Clippers did win tonight, I would caution everybody who's in on the Lakers to do some more research on the Clippers. I still favor the Lakers by a bunch over the Clippers at this point, but it's always good to be looking at your blind side. And since Kobe has a lot to do with this season, and his father played for Philadelphia and LA, and the return of the season has everything to do with the Codes We Live By advertising campaign, and how the numbers of the projected return of the season sync with the numbers that are given into Philadelphia and the Clippers in that commercial, it is something to think about. So, again, advertising campaign all through the NFL season. Just to remind people, the State Farm commercial with Mahomes and Rodgers last year that we were clued into from the opening night of the season. State Farm 103, the 27th prime. We followed that 103-27 pattern hard, and that's why we like the AFC, no matter who was there, to win the Super Bowl, to tie the NFC at 27 games apiece, as they did in Miami, which equals 27. And again, about knowing your numbers. Remember, Don Shula, the longtime Miami coach, he died on May 4th, a date that can be written 4-5 or 5-4, like how Miami hosted Super Bowl 54 at age 90 after Super Bowl 54 this year. Miami 36, square root 6. Think about LeBron in Miami. So, those are the majority of things I wanted to talk about right now. I'm going to grab the phone. It's just 10 feet over this way. And I'm going to start taking your calls. So give me a second to grab the phone and take it off airplane mode. And then take your questions. And you guys might jog my memory to talk about other things maybe I'm forgetting right now. So give me 1 second. Okay, hold on, just taking it off airplane mode here. And it is off airplane mode, and the number is on the screen if you want to call in. And I'll check in with the chat here as well. So, let me see. All right, we got our first caller. What's going on?
Yo, I got in. What's up, Zach?
You're the first one. Yeah, what's going on?
Hey, good timing, man. So check this out. Okay, so I have. I'm not gonna take up a bunch of time. 'Cause I know a few people want to get in, but for sports. So the first game of the Major League season, the first two games of the Major League season, the Yankees and the Nationals, and the Dodgers and the Giants. Right? Did you notice? Like, I was asking people if they thought it was a Kobe ritual because the Yankees game had 4-1. It got cut short due to rain.
And then 8-1. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. That's very possible. Kobe Bryant 41, Kobe Bean Bryant 81. And you guys, I just in case you don't know this, I just got to show you guys something again, because you jogged my memory on this. If you write out Mark of the Beast, it equals 54 and 81 in the exact same ciphers as Kobe Bean Bryant. And again, the Mark of the Beast is taking the number 666, and this guy scored 81 points in his 666th career game. And so, and again, all sports connected through the riddles. So I think your observation is absolutely correct about that, the 4-1 and the 8-1 thing.
so this is another team I think we probably should be looking for. I lost yesterday betting on them, but I mean I think there was other things that had to do with why it didn't go through that I might not have been looking at right.
Okay.
But the Oakland A's, right? After looking at all the Gematria stuff now, the Oakland A's they're very interesting. I'll put it like at that, right?
So just so you know about the Athletics, they always run hardcore riddles through the Athletics every year in their matchups and stuff. It's like they used the Athletics in a ritual to open last year's MLB season where they lost to the Mariners in games in Japan, which was about Ichiro's retirement. But if you were with us at the beginning of the year, we were able to see through how those opening games that meant that the World Series was going to go to Game 7 and end on the day leaving 62 days left in the year because Ichiro's 62 and a few other things. And recall, the World Series did go to Game 7. It ended on the day leaving 62 days left in the year, and the final score was even 6-2 that day in Houston, Texas, which equals 62. And by the way, since you just jogged my memory on that, in the NFL schedule coming up, the Minnesota Vikings are going to play the Tennessee Titans, who are the original Houston team, on the Jesuit days, September 27th. And, of course, George Floyd from Houston. So all this stuff's going to be interconnected all year. You're going to see Kobe, George Floyd rituals, just bringing it all together through all these sports leagues.
Yeah, it makes sense, too.
Mm-hmm.
With the A's, so what I noticed, like, just putting in the A's, they have the 56 and the 155, right?
They got a double 56 connection because Athletics and Oakland Athletics are both 56. Yep.
Yeah, and then they play in the Oakland Coliseum, which is also 56.
Mm.
And I put money on them yesterday for the 56, but it missed for other reasons. And it was clearly there was a fix in it because there was some weird stuff that happened, especially towards the very end of the game.
You see how the Rockies became 4-1? See, this is a number that plays big with the Athletics. This is what I was talking about at the beginning because last year we hit 4 games in a row at the start of the season with the Athletics and Baltimore series because both teams have that 41 connection. Those numbers play really strong for both franchises. So the Rockies became 4-1 against Oakland. Yeah, that's what I'm saying today with the Yankees game because Oakland and Baltimore both love 41. So last year when we saw how it was just going to lap, we're like, look, it's going to end up being this huge 4-1 ritual through all these games that went exactly like how I think we even had the scores right of the game. So, yeah, that's where you missed on that one. Oakland and 41 is a number that plays there, too.
Cool, yeah, because that was the one I was like, man, I got to understand why I missed that. You just gave me my answer because I had to understand because I was like, there's a reason why that didn't go through because everything else looked good.
Yeah.
But okay, so otherwise with the Athletics too, this came out on their very first game. There's a Tom Hanks riddle in it. Tom Hanks used to sell. You already know this is going on some bull when I bring this up, but he used to sell hot dogs at the A's game, and so they was like, yeah, we got his voice in some of the crowd. You know, they're using crowd noise, so you hear his voice as crowd noise.
Oh my goodness!
Like selling hot dogs for the A's.
Right? And he's born in 56. His birthday's in 56, so that's probably why they're doing that too.
Yeah, okay. Exactly. And so here's one more to finish it off, right? So on the A, who were they playing? I'm trying to think of who they played. It wasn't the Rockies. It was still the Angels. This might have been the third game they played with the Angels. And I would have totally missed this, but I've noticed, I've learned this from watching some of the KBO this year. If you listen to the commentators, I'm not saying you'll get it every time, but a lot of times they're telling you how the game is going to go.
Sure.
But they were saying, oh yeah, this pitcher, he's on his 56th pitch, right?
Right.
The guy named Mark Canna comes up to hit the home run on the 56th pitch. I pulled up Mark Canna. Mark Canna 56.
Exactly, man.
Not be serious.
That's how they do. That is literally how they do it. I had a video like that last year in the postseason with Verlander pitching because they were saying all this stuff before and they put up the pitch count. I was like, oh, here's the number I've been talking about. And then sure enough, the ritual, I was like, that's exactly how they do it, man. It's just once you know the code, you just laugh. You're like, oh my God, man.
Yeah, I start looking at the pitchers' numbers, I started seeing a whole bunch of 45s, a whole bunch of 46s. If you look at Kimbrel on the Cubs, he's 46. I don't think he's always been 46, but he's 46, and it makes perfect sense with Chicago. And Yeah, man. It's like Jesus. Like I've been watching this for years, and I've never seen it like that. You know what I'm saying? And
Well, that's how it feels once you learn it, because you're just like, you can't. Like I'm laughing at. I see the Mariners and Angels scores. Seattle in 107 is a big number with Seattle. I just see they won 10-7 yesterday. Did you get the Tigers winning on International Tiger Day? I'm hoping you got that one.
Nah, I messed up, bro. I messed up.
That's okay. That's okay. I should have given you guys. I've been talking about the International Tiger Day all year. Remember, that was Dak Prescott's birthday too. He had that suspicious death of his brother the day of the draft this year. So that's another thing to think about.
Yeah, and I meant, like, you know, I wasn't thinking about that, but I remember when you were calling that, like, not necessarily the game, but when you brought up the Tigers of having how we had all this Tiger news. There was the Tiger player died. You know, like the picture of the Tiger on Pink Sun, all that.
Exactly.
Stuff that was all playing out. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Tiger Day.
But
Tigers got to win.
Man, that's all I had, man. I know people trying to get in, but I just wanted to point that stuff out and, you know, hopefully get some stuff stirred up so you can still find stuff so we can benefit off of this.
Indeed, we will. Appreciate it, man. Keep up the good work. All right, see you. All right, sorry, San Francisco. I didn't switch over quick enough. I just missed you. But the line is open for people who want to call in and taking your questions. And, yeah, it's just about memorizing those patterns. So, man, if that 41 one in Oakland's a good one. Caller?
Yeah, what's up, Zach?
What's up, man?
I just wanted to go over, like, 2 or 3 numbers I saw with LeBron and today's date.
Okay.
And Charlie Wilson and Wednesday.
Okay.
So, did you measure from LeBron's birthday till today is 213 days?
That would be right, like the LA area code 213.
Yeah, and from the Boulet's birthday, which is 5/15, if I'm correct.
That's a good thing to measure from. What is it from their birthday to today?
Is 76 days.
Okay.
Which is 2 months and 15 days.
It reminds me of the 76ers too. Kobe crashing in a Sikorsky 76, and then they put out the autopsy of Kobe on the Boulet's birthday. Okay.
Yep, and from George Floyd's death, 5/25 till today is 66 days.
Like Lakers,
LeBron.
Lakers, LeBron, yeah.
Yeah, and I just, looked at that, and I found something, interesting about Charlie Wilson and 8/5 Wednesday. That's the next Wednesday.
Okay.
If you type his name in the Gematria calculator, Charlie Wilson equals 148 in ordinal and 67 in full reduction. And from his birthday, which is January the 29th, till that day is 6 months.
Help me out. Why are we looking at Charlie Wilson? This is I don't know who Charlie Wilson is exactly.
Because the singer who played in the Gap Band.
Okay.
And on that day, the Lakers and the 76ers play. So, can I explain right quick?
Okay, so he was in the Gap Band. They got the song "You Dropped a Bomb on Me." I see he's from Tulsa, Oklahoma. But wait, so he did something. Explain to me again how he's connected here.
So, like his name, Charlie Wilson, it's 148 and it's 67.
Okay.
August the 5th, the day that they're playing, that's the 148. That's leaving 148 days left in the year.
Okay.
And he's 67 years old, and from his birthday to that day is 6 months and 7 days. And I was thinking, like, Charlie was a big fan of Kobe, and Snoop Dogg gave Charlie Wilson the name Uncle Charlie, and Charlie Wilson's name is 77 in full reverse reduction, I think.
Okay.
And from Snoop Dogg's birthday till that date is exactly 77 days.
Okay.
And Snoop Dogg happens to be 48 years old right now, and the Gap Band equals 48.
Okay. Huh.
And I was just like, Charlie Wilson could be another Kobe ritual.
I see.
Through Snoop Dogg. who
I
was a,
see.
Kobe fan.
I see.
And one thing, I have the final ending on a certain date. I have the final ending on October the 3rd, because from Kobe's death, 126, to October the 3rd is 251 days. And if I'm not mistaken, 251 is the 54th prime, correct?
251 is the 54th prime, and that's a huge number with Kobe Bryant. Just to remind people, the Lakers won the 54th NBA season 20 years ago, and Wilt Chamberlain died just before the start of that season in Bel Air. And from the day Wilt Chamberlain died to the day Kobe and the Lakers won the NBA Finals was 251 days later, the 54th prime, to conclude the 54th season. So you're saying that date's 251 days after Kobe's death?
Yep.
Okay, well, what else stands out about October 3rd? I think you've made a really great what game number would that be?
Of the finals?
Yeah.
It probably, I think that would either be game, I don't know, because I don't know when the finals are going to start.
Okay, we need to look that up. But if I like your date. I like your date there because it leaves 89 days left in the year as well, and King James is 89, just like LeBron's 35 right now. So it'd be all, and just like I was coming back.
24th prime.
Right. So and we're coming back today on the day leaving 154 days left in the year. So we're covering all the King James ciphers here. So.
Yep, and because I got the 76ers versus the Lakers in the finals, and from 8-1, that is the day the 76ers play. From 8-1 till that date is a span of 61 days. Philadelphia 61.
Okay.
Does Philadelphia 61?
Say Philadelphia does equal 61. Yeah, it does.
Yeah, but that's all I got so far.
Okay, I want to remind people too that before coronavirus happened and the league got suspended, the finals were supposed to start on June 4th, which was 157 days after LeBron's birthday. And again, Kobe Bryant's 157, and he died on his 157th day of his age. Even though it's not that way anymore, I still think all that counts, and that's why I'm still going to be surprised if it's not the Lakers. So, all right, man, appreciate it.
Yeah, all right.
All
All right, you have a good one.
All right, take care. What's up, Marco?
Hey, what's up, bro? How you doing, man?
Doing well, thanks.
Good. Wanted to add on a couple of things. Crazy, I was going to call in about the Oakland A's thing as well, with Tom Hanks, him selling hot dogs. Of course, hot dog equals 33.
Huh.
Recall the time where Harrison Ford was sitting on Jimmy Kimmel's couch and he was wearing a hot dog outfit.
Okay.
And I'm like, what the hell is he sitting there with a hot dog outfit on? So
Right.
punched it up and saw it equal 33. So yeah, that's what that's about. The lady that I was talking about last night, the doctor that Trump is promoting, Stella Emanuel, like I told you, she came from Nigeria and went to Houston. So it's something going on with Houston per usual, I guess, with the Bushes and the Skull and Bones type of thing.
And you bringing that up, did you hear what I said about Randall Cunningham?
No, I don't think so.
So Randall Cunningham, how his 2-year-old son just died in Las Vegas?
Right.
I was talking about that, but then I was going back through my notes, and I just remembered that right after H.W. died in Houston, the defensive player, number 41 for the Houston Texans in the game right after his death, scored the first touchdown of his career, and his name was Cunningham. And I was like,
Wow.
I was like, man, I wonder if he's related to Randall Cunningham. But again, for people who don't know about Randall Cunningham's son, his son just died in a hot tub accident on June 30th, 2020. A date with 76 numerology, and hot tub 76, and Randall Cunningham 76. And when you run it the other way, Randall Cunningham's 95, that big Jesuit number. And the child died on Randall Cunningham's 95th day of his age. And in light of all these things being connected, Randall Cunningham's birthday is the 87th day of the year. And you just had the big drowning death with Naya Rivera that had a lot to do with 87 on 8/7, born in 87. And then that album that Eminem's got the song on came out on this same day, March 27th. It's just crazy how this stuff's connected. But anyway, man, go ahead.
No, you good. No worries. I want to say a note that I forgot to tell you last night. You might have already covered it. The N95 mask, 95
Sure.
dealing with the Jesuit.
Right.
Just thought that was crazy. But if you punch up N95 mass, that equals 71 like Catholic. If I didn't say that last night. But Houston, and like I was talking about that medicine that the lady is pumping, Stella Emanuel, the malaria medicine, the hydroxychloroquine.
Right.
Again, both of them equal 112, and back to that 77 that the caller was just talking about.
Okay.
So that's deep. Now, something that I did notice from today, and maybe the caller again had something with that, with the Charlie Wilson thing, because talking about Tulsa, Oklahoma. But remember, you just did the video saying that Herman Cain caught the COVID in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Right, exactly.
So I connected that with what I was telling you last night, and I don't know, you tell me if it's something there or not. But I told you about, and I just posted, I think you saw it on the comment section or whatever, but funny how last night Malik B dies at 47, and then today Herman Cain dies at 74.
Right.
The reverse. So I told you that Black Thought equals 47, and the name of his new album is Streams of Thought Volume 3. Cain and Abel, like Herman Cain. He dies the next day.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's how it is, man.
Yeah, man, it was just crazy. I just wanted to bring a couple of those thoughts to your attention, and I just wanted to clarify. We were a little confused in the chat. Correct me if I'm wrong. You said that if you were choosing today, you would do Jazz, Lakers, and Yankees. Is that right?
No.
Okay.
No. I've been talking about how Utah equals 14, and today has 14 date numerology, and the Pelicans can get their 14th home win. 14 is usually very consistent with Utah. So.
Gotcha. So you would do Pelicans and Lakers, Yankees, I guess?
That's what I would do. Mm-hmm.
Pelicans, Lakers, Yankees. Okay, cool, man. I won't hold you, man. I appreciate you, bro.
Yeah. All right. Appreciate it, man.
All right. Thanks. Take it.
Okay. Yeah. Again, 14 date numerology. Utah's 14 in the most pure cipher. Pelicans get that 14 home win. So. What's up, Ron?
What's going on there?
Hey, man.
Yep, just got through. I didn't even know you was on. One of my people told me you was on live. How you doing? Everything good?
Everything's good. Finally getting over the mountain of work I had to get done, so doing a little last
I'm like halfway through your new book. That was a way better book too, man. Got me. Because I know the numbers now. So it's freaking me out. Like you say it makes you laugh, but it's really crazy to me. It's like, man, bro, when I start seeing it, and then how I'm learning more and more stuff, man, it's amazing. It's amazing. But yeah, definitely that book, man.
Well, I'll tell you what, man.
The introduction was I like the introduction had me, like stuck.
Well, I'm glad you like it so far. I'll tell you, I feel like I'm living in the Matrix right now, man, because figuring out that it is the Jesuits at the tip of the spear and they're banned on my birthday and all this shit, and being in hotel room 201 when I was in Louisiana and all this stuff. And now what happened yesterday, I've been waiting to see what was going to happen all day or all year to see what would happen on Tisha B'Av yesterday in their latest Temple Mount destruction ritual, and they destroy the train in Tempe, Arizona. Man, that's where I went to college. I'm like, oh my God, the rituals in my school? I mean, come on. So
yeah,
I'm just tripping out this year.
I understand now. I understand what it is too. You already like you say, you feel like you in the Matrix. So by you feeling like that, it's gonna give it to you like that. And that's how it be with me. Like I see this number, I don't even be trying to see a certain number, but it's like it makes me see it. But it's like it's embedded in me. It ain't got in my subconscious so much that I realize, okay, this the way it is, and it just give it to you like that. So it feels like, wow, so it's just amazing how it happened. But I can understand how all that synchronicity, happens with you. I'm surprised you ain't went crazy yet, to be honest.
Well, no, it doesn't make me go crazy. It just makes me go like, what in the world is really going on, man? So.
But and the truth is, like, I don't know why you don't gamble, but I gamble, but it should give you like a motivation to wake up, because it's almost like if we ain't broke the code, we definitely have cracked the code. And if we ain't cracked the code, we definitely tapped in. So by us being great and tapping in, it gives you goosebumps. It's like, wow, you know what I mean?
Sure.
Like, that's how I make you feel. So I can understand why you haven't went crazy and you keep going harder, because the more you go hard, the more you realize, like, I'm really, decoding. I'm really doing this. You know what I mean?
Well, and exactly. I mean, you work hard and you keep moving forward. You just learn more and more. And it's good that I took this time off because it allowed me to focus on the news. And now I really got their numbers. I mean, I've learned quite a few. I've learned quite a few things since January of this year that I didn't know before, and they've been super helpful.
I'm gonna tell you how I know you great, and you. That's why I'm great. I learned from you, and I'm a monster too. And I would up on my Patreon too. 25 a month, man, because I still got the 5, but I'm only giving picks for the 25 because I'm trying to get rid of the small guys back, and I'm doing so great now. It's not about the money, whether you pay 5 or 25. It's trying to get rid of some of the trolls and some of the people that don't really supposed to be gambling. You know what I mean? And try to criticize the work.
Indeed. Yeah, good for you, man.
Yeah, but get back to the Tigers. I would have picked. I had the Tigers. I didn't give it out, but that would have been the second play that I would have gave out. Because of the 33. So both teams could have got the 33. Tigers equals 33 and 4 reduction, but I had no idea. Just listen. I just started listening when you started talking about Tiger's birthday or something.
International Tiger Day. No, we've been circling it all year. I've been waiting to see what was going to happen on July 29th because it was International Tiger Day, plus it was a date with 76 numerology, and Tiger equals 76. Because again, you guys, that's been a huge number this year. Remember on April 7th, 4/7, like our 4774 date, that was the date they let Wuhan, China out of lockdown after 76 days. And also that same day, Tiger Woods was in the headlines for eating his master's dinner quarantine style by himself. And the way they coded that quarantine style is 201 like the Jesuit order. But I was like, look at that. Tiger 76, Master 76, his master's dinner the same day Wuhan gets out. And they just been coding all this Tiger shit all year. So I was just like, just wait till they get to International Tiger Day. And what was weird is like that. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. Keep going.
Well, I was just gonna.
What was weird?
I was just going to say that one of the biggest stories yesterday was just all the attention on Mark Zuckerberg and the technology thing in Washington, D.C., the big 4 tech companies being accused of monopolies. But yesterday was 76 days after Mark Zuckerberg's birthday, and he got the most attention out of those big 4 CEOs. So I'm going to follow where they're going with that. But yeah, I should have put up a post yesterday morning because but I assume most people knew it was International Tiger Day since we've been talking about it all year. But yeah, I just knew that the Tigers were a gimme. And when I saw that they were down earlier yesterday, I was like, God, they can't lose on International Tiger Day. Sure enough, they came back and won. So anyway.
Yeah, and I bet that I'm actually literally in Vegas right now, Zach. I landed yesterday. I bet I had the Royals. I didn't give it out, but I bet, and I had the over team total. So I'm happy. They put up 4 runs early, Zach. Didn't score another run. Team total 4.5.
And well, you see what Detroit became. Detroit became 4-2, didn't they? Because they're up there on the 42nd parallel.
Yeah, but that's why I don't know how. I don't know if you. Let me ask you this: did you see both of the teams' records before you knew about the International Day?
Well, I've been talking about International Tiger Day all year. I've had that day circled.
I understand, but because I know you don't really bet and you don't really follow the sport. Did you know their records? Was you aware that both teams can go 3-3 and Tigers equals 33?
Well, I know Tigers is 33.
Even with your.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, so that's where you want to be aware of like extra things because I bet you on any other day of the week you would have got that.
That's when you want to be Zach the man right there.
Well, any other day of the week you would have got that right. Yeah, I wouldn't feel too bad about that one because you didn't know it was International Tiger Day, but that's why you just can't go. I mean, how are you going to go against the Tigers? Because this year's been all about the Tigers, right, Rod? The college championship to start the year was LSU Tigers versus Clemson Tigers.
Yeah.
And it's been all about 56 this year, too. That's another number to watch out for. Just like Ed Orgeron, the coach at LSU, his name equals 56, and he finished the season with 56 wins. So
yeah, it's crazy you said that because the pick that I gave out yesterday, and it was a risk pick. It should have been the Braves. I hit the Rays first 2, and I got the winner tonight. But I had to. I'm getting like you because once you see the first series, you can kind of see where they can head with the game. So it's really amazing how that works out.
Right.
But what I was about to say is something with I wanted to address with the Cleveland Indians. I don't know if you talked about Cleveland can go 52 in Minnesota. I know you think that, right?
I suspect that 3 games from now the Twins will become 5-2 and 6-2. And I was trying to figure out what they might do tonight. There's a chance
So here's the clincher. I give it to everybody.
Okay.
It's an underdog. This should be the clincher. If you put Shane Bieber, he's the starting pitcher. Guess what, Zach? His name equals 52 and 4 reductions.
But they can't become 5-2 tonight.
Who, Cleveland?
Wait, hold on. Did I miss that Cleveland could become 5-2?
Yeah, Cleveland can do it tonight. Cleveland can do it tonight. Minnesota do it tomorrow.
Oh,
And that man
I'm
made
so
it.
dumb. I was looking. Okay, so that actually. Okay, I like what you're saying because what I was looking at when I was trying to figure out how the Twins will become 5-2 and 6-2. Here's my thought: if the Twins lose tonight and become 4-2, the singular twin equals 42, and this whole season synced up with the killing of George Floyd. And remember, he died on Memorial Day, which equals 181
He
to
was a
40.
twin. Look
Right.
Look out him putting it together. Go ahead.
Yeah, so he died on Memorial Day. Memorial Day, 181, the 42nd prime. And then Steven Jackson from the NBA, who was 42 years old at the time, came out and called George Floyd his twin. And then you had the I Can't Breathe, which equals 52, like Minnesota. So becoming 5-2 for the Twins seems inevitable. And then Floyd, Minneapolis, Riot, they're all 62. So the Twins getting to 6-2 makes a lot of sense. So perhaps they lose tonight, win tomorrow, win the next one.
See, that's exactly what I was saying about how you can see the first game and read it out like I'm doing.
Oh shit, he disconnected. But the whole time I saw Minnesota in 52, I wasn't noticing that right there in front of my face, the Indians' record was 4-2. So yeah, the Indians could become 5-2 against Minnesota tonight. That's very, very probable. And like he said, the pitcher's name Shane Bieber's 52. So that could be right on right there. Caller?
Hey, Zach. Adam from Wisconsin.
Hey, what's up, man? Hello?
Zach, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, I tried getting in touch with you yesterday, but obviously with the live stream, it was pretty bad. I got Decode here from SpaceX from May 30th, and it's got a lot of 59, and it's got a lot of telling numbers that you've been talking about lately. Obviously, that event was the 151st day of the year, May 30th, and Space Launch Live, the hashtag that was trending, 151. But then if you start breaking it down, you get this 59 everywhere. And it's an odd sequence, but you figure what's happening that day, it was the launch, and you got 59 and 31. Then you get the guy's last name, Bob Behnken, one of the astronauts that's going up. Behnken is almost exactly the same as launch. Then you start taking a look at this Crew Dragon, or the Dragon Crew, whatever they're taking, or calling it. You got Crew being 59. You got Dragon being almost exactly the same as launch. Basically, you go through this whole sequence of everything that they're talking about, and it comes down to what I found was the Mets. So you got the New York team, but this Mets thing, Mets are in their 59th season, and this whole broadcast, is on the Discovery Channel or the Science Channel, whatever the heck it was. The broadcast is talking about Katy Perry, and she's like irrelevant right now. Like, no big deal. Like, Katy Perry's going to be sending off these astronauts during the SpaceX launch. Also, I think SpaceX had some date numerology for the May 30th launch as well. But Katy Perry, they're talking about Katy Perry this, Katy Perry that. And they interview this guy just before Katy Perry goes on, Mike Massimino. And if you run his name, Mike Massimino, a former astronaut, you get 60, like some date numerology of that day. But also you get the 201, so there's your Jesuit connection. But Mike Massimino, he mentioned something. Prior to that, let me back up. This is my first decode. I just wanted to get through this with you. But prior to that, during this launch, they're talking about liquid oxygen, nonstop. And Crew Dragon or Dragon Crew, they're talking about these numbers. I do a decode on both of those. And you get 162, you get 54, just like baseball. So they say liquid oxygen probably 15 times in a row on this particular broadcast. And this is about an hour or two before the launch, mind you. And you get this 162 and 54 naturally. You know, I was an athlete growing up, still am. 162, the only thing that comes to my mind is baseball. So I run baseball. Sure enough, same numbers come up.
Right.
So I'm sitting there watching it with my parents. And I'm like, guys, listen, because I'm trying to open their eyes. I'm over at their house at this point in time. Watch this. They're going to talk about baseball. And they look at me, they're like, you're crazy. Like, what are you talking about? I said, they're going to bring up baseball. So sure enough, this Mike Massimino's getting interviewed. And, you know, they're asking these kind of, what I kind of felt were kind of fabricated questions.
And one question, well, what do you bring up to space? And he mentioned this little Snoopy guy, or little stuffed animal Snoopy, which reminded me of when I was a kid. There was something called MetLife. It was MetLife Insurance. Snoopy was the mascot, which was an odd coincidence. But then out of nowhere, he goes, "Well, I'm a New York guy. I love the Mets." My parents had snap around to me, and they're like, "How the hell did you know baseball was going to come, let alone a team name?" So as soon as he mentions the Mets, sure, I run Metropolitan. Date numerology, it's got a number of similar numbers. I run Metropolitans, the plural.
Okay, hold on. I see. Okay, so again, this is all tying in with the SpaceX launch, right? That was synced up with. So again, I mean, just what jumps out right away is just I call 57 the New York Mets number. So Mets is 57, and New York Mets is 57, and again, the word moon is 57.
No, there's tons of moon in there. So if you do Astro Benkin, which is Bob Benkin's Twitter username, I got deep stuff on this. You do Astro Benkin, you get that 57 or 51 like moon. Anyway, if you keep going on the moon side, you'll get tons of 51s and 57s out of this.
Right, and that launch was 51 days before the 51-year anniversary of the moon landing.
You want to go days on me? Listen to this. So Bob Benkin, the day that they launched, his birthday was not too long. It was July 28th. 59 days from the May 30th date. So now you got another 59 that shows up in that case. But then it gets crazier. So then this guy says, "Yeah, I'm a Mets guy, I'm a New York guy, like the Mets." Now all of a sudden Katy Perry's on there. Go, "Oh, we're going to cut to Katy Perry. You're going to send off these astronauts," which again, to me, irrelevant. I looked at Katy Perry's birthday. So you're talking 10/25. Whatever year she was born. But if you look at 10/25 this year, her birthday this year, and May 30th, it's got almost the exact same numerology. I think it is the exact same numerology in the comparisons that you can make between those two dates. 75, 55, 39, 12. So anyway, I run Mets. I just run METS, Mets. You get a set of numbers. I forget what it was, but the main one was 12 in the middle, that English reduced. Is 12. So I run Katy Perry, I get nothing. Then I run Katy. It's a perfect 4-base cipher check. And everything I ran with this particular decode is all 4-base ciphers. That's it. Didn't go into anything else. Mets equals Katy Perry. I run Perry on its own. I get 37 where the 12 was. We know that 37 is the 12th pride. So there is something screaming the Mets. Then I sure enough look at the Mets. Just do a quick Google search on them. 59th season. This is their 59th season. And I don't know how this ties in, but I know that 59 number, it would really be odd if Biden threw everybody for a loop and went with, what's her name, Elizabeth Warren, because Biden-Warren is 113-59. So you talk about going off script or throwing people a loop or even making it more divided. We're expecting a black lady for this VP.
He made that announcement on the anniversary of the moon landing. He said on July 20th he'd pick one of 4 black women for his VP.
That's interesting. So I'm just curious if he goes off script and goes back to Warren with that 113 and 59. But that was just another observation that just coincided with this 59 thing. But you're saying Mets and Moon, because Mets and Moon might have a lot in common with that 57.
Yeah.
I just figured I'd throw that out there because this has been... This one, I keep researching. There's more and more to it. So just wanted to get that over to you and let you, take over from here.
All right. Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Okay, bye.
All right. Yeah, I see some more low-hanging fruit, you guys, in baseball. Again, the Yankees can become 4-1 overall and 4-1 away. Baltimore's 41. The Indians can become 5-2. Very consistent number with Minnesota. Indians can become 5-2 today. Twins can become 5-2 tomorrow. Tampa Bay Rays equals 43 in the most pure cipher. That's a good number with the Rays, 43. Very consistent. If the Rays lost today and the Braves won, both teams would be 4-3. So that looks like a good riddle right there. Both teams 4-3. Tampa Bay Rays 43. That's a consistent pattern with them. And what else did I just see down here? San Diego does equal 43 in reverse Pythagorean, and if the Giants won, both teams would be 4-3, and the Giants are at home and considerable underdogs, so the Giants would be a nice payout. So, if you want to do some small parlays today, again, I got to get back in my groove. I got to see that my picks are coming through today, but these are consistent patterns historically. The Padres can be a funny team. But I do see that San Diego's 43, and both teams could hit that 4-3 mark with the Giants upset, who are at home. It's not Friday, is it? The Giants seem to perform well at home on Friday. So this Braves game right here, though, man, 4-3 on both. I know Tampa Bay Rays and 43 is a good one. So, all right, let's go back out to the callers. What's up, man?
Hey, Zach, my fault. I know I already called in. One last quick point for you. Did you hear that Patrick Mahomes is now part owner of the Royals?
And that I did not know that, but then just how the Super Bowl was all synced up with the Royals World Series, so crazy.
Yep. Yeah, just a heads up, man. That's all I wanted, man.
When was that announced?
I believe it was 2 days ago, maybe 3 days ago. I didn't get the exact date. You probably had to look it up.
Okay.
Yeah, it definitely was on Google though.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that's a ritual. So I will check that out.
Yeah, that's crazy, man.
All right. Yeah, appreciate it.
Later.
All right, see you, man. Okay. So again, if I'm messing around today and just putting together a few parlays, if I want to string together like a $5 parlay that pays over $100, I'm going to take those 2 basketball games. Hold on, let me take another call. Caller?
Hey, Zach.
What's up?
Hey, man, I've been off. I've been off a while. I heard your book pretty good, man.
I've been off for a while, man. It's good to hear your voice. I'm glad you're doing well out there.
Shoot. Hey, who do the Decode now?
Well, Rod and Victor are doing the decodes. Arthur at Simple Truth TV, he's doing decodes. There's a man out there in the UK who's, I guess he's figured out PGA pretty well. But Rod and Victor have been doing it.
So how well can join them? How I join them? Because I'm kind of off.
Well, I'll post their, when I'm done with today's live stream, I'll post their links back up at the top again so you can find them.
Okay, no problem. Hey, let me ask a question, Zach. Hey, you feel like you rested? You rested, did you?
Well, I don't know if I'm rested, man, because I just been working, but I feel all right.
Oh, I'm gonna tell you something. On the baseball game when the Yankees played the National, I saw 2 coaches stand up. 70 New York number, 70 stand up. When the Yankees played the first game with the National, I knew the Yankees were gonna win the first game.
You saw? So how did they do the 70 thing?
That's New York number, ain't it? 70 is the New York number.
Well, I think you are right that it does connect to the. Let me double check that. I think in reverse it is 70, and it was a 70.
Yeah.
It was a 70. Yeah. New York Yankees is 70. 70 date numerology.
What about 37? 37 too?
Well, the Yankees is 37 in reverse. So
There
yeah.
you go. 37 was there too. It was a 70 number, and the 37 was on the board too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just saw that.
Yeah. Major Jesuit ritual was that game. So 70 been a big number this year.
You said that game yesterday. I lost on the what game y'all said 41 to Oakland. Man, I lost on Oakland yesterday too, man.
That Oakland 41's a good pattern. So yeah. Now that baseball started, watch those Rockies, because anytime a 38 riddle comes up, a pitcher gets the 38th win, 38th loss, something like that. Just be looking for those 38s with Colorado. That's the best number with the Colorado game. But yeah, Athletics or Oakland in 41 plays, so don't sleep on that Oakland 41.
So let me ask a question. So, but yesterday was 41. When's yesterday? So the other team was 4-1, right?
They became 4-1 and 4-1 away against the Athletics. The Yankees can do the same thing today against Baltimore. Baltimore's that big four. I know you hate Baltimore, so yeah, Baltimore and 41. I mean, yeah, that plays.
So you said Baltimore 41. The Yankees can be 4-1 today. You said.
Yeah, so here's what looks good to me today in baseball. The Yankees can become 4-1 overall and 4-1 away against Baltimore. Baltimore in 41 plays. 52 and the Twins always play, so the Indians can become 5-2 against Minnesota today. I think what's likely is the Indians win today, and then the Twins win their next 2 games. So you could possibly do a 3-game parlay. You have to hope the Twins lose today. If you want to be patient, if the Twins do lose today, I think they'll definitely win their next 2 games. But anyway, the Indians look like they're good to beat the Twins. That would be an upset. The Rays should lose to the Braves. I like the Braves becoming 4-3 and the Rays falling to 4-3 because Tampa Bay Rays is 43. That was a huge pattern for us every year with the Rays. So I'll be surprised if that Braves game doesn't come through. And then The other game, this one would be a nice payout. I don't like these teams, the Padres and Giants, because they seem to bust riddles when they shouldn't. But San Diego does equal 43 as well. And if the Padres lost and the Giants won, the Giants would be a nice payout tonight. If the Giants won, both teams would be 4-3. San Diego 43, and the Giants would pay well. So.
Zach, before I leave you everything, I did learn a little bit. I mean, I took that. It's hard for me to do like y'all do, but I do learn some of y'all stuff though. You know, like the 33 numbers, 33 like 33s, and shit like that. And a few numbers that I learned from you that it will y'all look out for. You know.
Indeed. Yeah, and pay attention to what I'm teaching right now about these Jesuit numbers, because they're coming through in a huge way. The Jesuits are running the show, and they're putting their numbers all over everything. So the whole Yankees-Nationals game was a giant Jesuit ritual, which I talked about at the beginning of this live stream.
Hey, the book, I have to get your book. Can I download it? Can I download it? Download your book? I download it, can I?
Yeah, you can. I have 2 books that you can download now. So I got a new book, and then pretty soon the new book will be in print. You can have a physical copy if you want to, but yeah, you can download both books. They're both right there on the top of the Patreon wall. So.
Hey, Jack, you're not going to decode no more? No more decode for you?
No, I'm going to start decoding sports again, but I'm not going to do it every single day like I was. I'm just going to, I'll probably do it like 3 days a week or something, so.
No, really, I asked because I'm probably going to give you extra, a month if you need me to, no problem.
No, don't worry about it, man. Don't worry about all that, but I'll come back and start doing more sports because I had a lot of stuff to do the first half of this year, and I got pretty much all of it done, so now I have more free time again.
Exactly. One more thing, I'm going to tell you something. Do you know that when Kobe died, that Kobe stayed down 41 minutes? My father told me that. I told my father the coach. He told me the next day, do you know the airplane stayed there 41 minutes?
Exactly, man. 9:06 to 9:47. It's sick.
Man, Zach, man, you woke me up like stuff, man. Okay, Zach, I'll let you go. Thank you very much, sir.
All right, you're welcome, man. Good to hear you. Take care.
You go. All right, yeah.
Caller?
Yeah, what's up, man?
Hey, what's up?
I just wanted to talk about that Padres game that you mentioned.
Okay.
The pitcher for the Padres is Dinelson Lamet.
I see that.
Lamet.
Uh-huh.
His first name, Dinelson, which is a very different name, equals 43. He would get his 14th loss.
Ooh, 43, the 14th prime. I'm pulling up his stats right now just to see what you're seeing.
And it's the 14-date numerology.
Yeah.
So 43 all over the place.
Yeah, so that just increased the odds of that. So okay, good observation. So San Diego 43. You're saying his name Dinelson's 43?
Right. Dinelson's 43.
Let me see. Whoops. Yep.
Now,
Yep.
The only thing is, this is his 37th game that he's starting in, and the 37th game he's playing in, and he's going for his 12th. It's his 12th win.
I do see that.
And it's 12 days after his birthday. So that's the only thing that's I don't know now.
That's why I'd be careful with the Padres Giants. You know what I would do? I'd put together a small parlay card tonight, $5 type of bet, and just throw this one on there because it would be a great multiplier. That way, if you lose, it's not the end of the world. But the Padres and Giants are screwy teams, so.
Yeah, that's the only thing that's stopping me there.
Yeah, that 37-12 is a little bit worrisome, but man, that's a lot of 43 and 14 on the 14-date numerology. So.
Yeah, and the other game that's interesting is the Red Sox tonight against the Mets. The pitcher is number 54. He's going for his 54th win, and 54 as a word is 117. You're familiar with that, right?
Wait, hold on. Which pitcher's going for the 54th win?
Martin Perez.
Martin Perez is going for the 54th win. Okay, and he's a pretty good pitcher too.
He's number 54, and 54 as a word is 117, and it's 117 days after his birthday.
And Major League Baseball's 117, and November 7th, 117 leaves 54 days left in the year. So we've seen that pattern before. Roy Halladay died on November 7th. Well, look, he can stay on 57 losses against the Mets too. So for people who don't know, if a pitcher was coming in and could get their 57th win or their 57th loss against the Mets, totally bank on that. Staying on 57 losses against the Mets, it's not quite the same, but it's very probable. Yeah, I think I'm digging the 54th win in light of what you said. So.
Yeah, and he wears the number 54, like I said. So it figures to be a good spot for it.
Yeah. I can see it.
Now, one other thing before I let you go. It's not baseball related, but I can never get in touch with you. You're familiar with The Sopranos and how it ended, the last scene, how the screen went dark and everybody didn't know if he was killed or not?
Isn't he like in a restaurant and some guys walk in?
Yeah, he was in a restaurant. He walked in first, right?
Right.
He was waiting for his wife and his son and his daughter to join them later. So I said, you know what? Everybody's debating whether or not he got killed. So I said, let me watch that scene again and put on my Gematria hat.
Oh, sure.
Right? It's staring you right in the friggin' face.
What happened?
That he was killed in that scene. That was the death scene.
So what happens? What's the clue up?
You gotta watch it. It's on YouTube. It's a 4-minute scene. As soon as he walks into that diner, he's looking at the painting on the back wall.
Okay.
And he's looking at it with kind of like a confused or a concerned look. You can see the look on his face. And they show the picture of the back wall.
Okay.
Right? Just the picture of the back wall after he walks in. There's a football player, I guess it was a local college player or whatever, I don't know what it was. But the football player is wearing the number 38.
Yeah, there it is.
And when Tony Soprano sits down, they show him actually sitting down and right under the picture, but he's kind of to the right of the player with the 38, and the player's kind of in like a running stride with the ball.
Okay.
And it's almost like like death is going towards Tony Soprano at that time.
Huh. Yeah.
But it's staring you right in the face, the 38. And The Sopranos, that was the 86th episode. So you think of 86 to get rid of. So
Sure.
That was the 86th episode. And they also had the player's name, Super Dave Phillips.
Okay.
So I put that in Gematria, and that's 86 as well.
Okay.
You could see that on the painting on the back wall. And I found out that painting was put there specifically for that last scene. It's not there if you go into that restaurant. There's a different, they put it up there just for that scene.
Sure.
So that ends the debate to me about whether or not he was killed.
Yeah, great observations. Another 38. Yeah, he ended up dying by the numbers in real life too while he was in vacationing over in Italy. So
yeah, I'm sure about that. But but when the screen went dark, that was like David Chase was telling us he's keeping us in the dark, while the people that have this knowledge, he wanted them to know.
Right.
He didn't want them to be in the dark like us. You know what I mean?
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
So he had to put the clue in there for them, but leave us in the dark. So that's what I got out of it.
Indeed. Yeah, great observation. Appreciate it, man.
All right. Have a good one.
All right, see you.
Bye.
Okay, something else you guys can observe, because there's an early baseball game today, the Blue Jays have a chance to become 4-3, and Ontario does equal 43, and there's been some rituals with 43 in Ontario in the past, especially the year that Kawhi Leonard, I can't think. Kawhi Leonard in the 70s, was it the 76ers series in the playoffs the other year? There was this huge 43 thing. Hold on, let me take this call and then I'll come back to this point. Actually, sit tight real quick, Marilyn. I'm going to put you on. If the Blue Jays become 4-3 today, just remember Ontario's 43. And I'm not saying they're going to, but just observe this because it's the early game. If that 43 plays in this game, that's probably a really good sign for it for in the later games today, because 43 is the 14th prime and today has 14-8 numerology. So I'd keep an eye on that with the Blue Jays if they do become 4-3 since it's an earlier game. Still not sure, but the Cubs could fall to 4-3. Those aren't the stronger riddles today, but I'll be surprised if the Yankees aren't 4-1 as strong as 41 is with Baltimore. And again, 52 in Minnesota, a good one. This 43 pattern right here looks really good with the Braves over the Rays. And Padres and Giants a little bit iffy, but could be. All right, what's up, Maryland? Oh, hold on. I screwed up. Can you hear me, Maryland?
Yeah, hey, how you doing, Zach?
Doing well. How are you?
Hey, I'm all right. I'm good. This is Davon.
What's up, Devon?
All right. Hey, I got a question. It's kind of funny again, but when the Orioles played the Yankees yesterday, weren't they considered the home team yesterday? Their first home game?
Let me see. I'm scrolling down to it. Well, here it shows that they were away.
Well, I mean, they were away. They weren't considered the home team yesterday.
No, they were. It says that ESPN has them as away and the Orioles at home.
Okay, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. The Orioles at home.
Orioles were at home. Yeah. Orioles were at home yesterday. Yeah.
Okay, this is the crazy thing, and it happened again. Anytime the baseball season starts and Orioles are always their first home game, they always lose that game. It has happened every single time.
What? Do you know how many years the streak really is that they've lost the home opener?
I don't know off the top of my head. I'm gonna have to look it up, but it is freaking crazy. I told everybody. I said, listen. I said the Orioles going to lose their first opener home game. Everybody was looking at me like I was crazy. I said the same thing last year and the year before that. It's always been the same thing. And most likely it's either to Boston or it's either to the Yankees.
Okay.
They normally play one of those two home teams. They normally play one of those teams at home on their home opener. But I think last year they played the Astros last year, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, so I think this stats from last year. The Orioles lost 4-2 to the Minnesota Twins in Minnesota, extending their streak of season-starting losses to half again their original record, marking their 7th straight series being. Wait, I'm sure. No, that still didn't tell me. I'm still trying to figure out when the last time they won a home opener was.
I don't even know.
They had that crazy losing streak last year too. Okay. Oh, okay. So the Orioles, it looked like wait, no, that's 2018. So hold up, 2000. If they lost last year, if you're right about them losing last year too, if last year they would have lost, that would have been their 22nd straight time losing the opener, and that means this year would have been their 23rd time losing the opener. That makes me think that next year they're going to win because the word end equals 23. So now they should have lost 23 straight home openers. So I'm thinking next year they win the home opener.
Yep.
Yeah, I bet that's what it is.
Yeah, that's what I saw when I was looking at their streak, and I was like, it is kind of weird how every year they're losing the home opener, and most likely they're almost getting their heads beat in.
Okay, you saying that reminds me of something else for people to look out today. This might be true somewhere in a riddle that I'm not aware of. There might be some team that's on some sort of losing streak right now. Today does have that 14-date numerology, and we see a lot of streaks end in connections of 14. If anybody, I don't know if there's any NBA team coming back that's lost 13 straight games or anything like that, but if you hear anything about, a streak of 14 happening today, I would clue into that streak of 14 on the 14-date numerology. That could be something you hear in real time today, and that could be a big clue because streaks in 14 and 23 are a big deal.
Oh, okay. All right, cool.
All right, yeah.
All right.
Yeah, good observation. Appreciate that.
All right, no problem.
All right, thanks, man. And I wasn't even paying. There's not like anybody that can fall to 1-4 today, is there? Should look at that too. Can anybody become 1-4? Doesn't look like anybody's off. No. Nope. Okay. All right. So, again, just to recap in case you got here late, baseball. Again, things I'm really expecting today, the Yankees to become 4-1 overall and 4-1 away because Baltimore's 41. Minnesota in 52 is always hot, so the Indians becoming 5-2 today, very, very probable. And I fully expect that 3 games from now, the Twins will be 6-2. And if they lose today, they would be 4-2. If they win the next game, they'd be 5-2, like Minnesota's 52, like I Can't Breathe 52. Then if they win again, they'd be 6-2, like Minneapolis is 62, like Floyd's 62, like Riot is 62. And this whole season's synced up with George Floyd's death and the time of Gemini, the twins. Again, George Floyd died on Memorial Day, 181, the 42nd prime if they fell to 4-2 today. So watching that right there. Again, Tampa Bay Rays, 43, very strong pattern. They lose today, they're 4-3. The Braves win today, they're 4-3. So I like the Braves becoming 4-3 and dropping the Rays to 4-3. That looks good. Tampa Bay Rays, 43, most pure cipher. And if I want to throw a $5 parlay out there, I'd put all these baseball games on there that I mentioned, and I'd take the Giants to upset the Padres because they're underdogs at home. They're a nice payout today, so they'd be a good parlay multiplier. And again, they can become 4-3, and the Padres can fall to 4-3. And as we saw, San Diego equals 43. Today has 14 date numerology. The pitcher for the Padres could get his 14th loss today, 43 the 14th prime. The reason I'm not super confident about this, though, and I would just do it as a parlay multiplier on a small pick, is because the Giants and Padres bust riddles all the time. There'll be something that looks really good. Well, except for when it's like Colorado and San Diego are playing each other and it's a giant 38 ritual because they're both 38 cities. Then I love a team like the Padres. But in other games, it's just like they're two teams that historically just they make you scratch your head. So there's some nights where they look really good and it's an undeniable riddle. But even though this one looks pretty good, I'm still like, like that one caller said, he's like, well, Lamet could also get his 12th win 12 days after his birthday. So again, watch that first game. If the Blue Jays do win today and become 4-3 like Ontario's 43, and we've seen some 43 patterns with Ontario sports before, Raptors and Blue Jays, that would probably be a good sign that a lot of these other 43 riddles would come through today. Cubs, if they lost to the Reds, would be 4-3, but yeah, hold on. Luis Castillo is their ace. Let me see what Castillo's got going on for his career record. This guy was money for us last year, Luis Castillo. Let me check his stats real quick, just to see. So, hold on. This guy had a lot of good riddles last year, Luis Castillo. Here, take a call for Georgia while we pull up Castillo's stats. Caller?
Hey, Zach, sorry about that. I didn't mean to interrupt, but I was trying to go back to some trends from last year. Didn't you used to kind of say that the Yankees and the Twins were kind of, went on the same days a lot, and not necessarily the Yankees and the Mets on the same day?
Yeah, and I have a strong feeling that our ALCS this year is going to be the Yankees and the Twins. So.
Okay. I was wondering about since you had the Yankees winning and possibly the Mets winning on the other caller, would that be a bit of a conflict? But I got you. Okay.
It does happen. There is some days where they both win, but
Sure.
No, the other caller. Hold on. The other caller liked the Red Sox to win today, so he liked the Mets losing. The caller made the point about Martin Perez. I know that the Mets are one of these teams that can become 4-3. That's not going to happen in every game today. They could become 1-4 at home on the 14-date numerology just as easily. But the caller liked the riddle with Martin Perez, so he liked the Red Sox winning, which would mean the Mets would lose today and the Yankees would win.
Gotcha. And then I thought I also saw earlier, I was having the hardest time pulling up that I think the pitcher for the Yankees is on a 9-game road win streak, if I can recall. So I was wondering, has he quote unquote completed his task in the sense of completion, and maybe tonight would be his loss.
Yeah, I can't go against Baltimore in 41. That's usually a riddle that's just money in the bank, whether it's football or baseball or whatever. So.
Fantastic. Okay, just checking. And then you mentioned a fellow in the UK that was doing golf. Did you ever link that to any of your posts before?
I will get his link and I will post it along with Rod and Victor's. He says he wrote me an email and said the last 4 weeks he's picked the right golfer for PGA to win the tournament. So.
Wow. Yeah. If you can somehow drop that for us, that'd be great. I would appreciate that.
Yeah, I will get it.
All right. Thank you.
All right. You know what, you guys? It's almost noon. I'm going to wrap it up there. I'm going to get the links for Rod and Victor and also for the man doing PGA. And I'll say one more time with the NBA tonight. If we haven't moved into the twilight zone, why does it? I don't know why when I keep zooming in, it keeps going into those ads. I'm just trying to make ESPN's changed something about their page. You can't zoom in past this, but anyway, Lakers tonight. I feel like it's all about Kobe. The Lakers win. They're 24-8 at home. I mean, it's the Kobe Bryant jersey numbers. It just seems so in your face. Lakers stay on 14 losses on the 14 date in the Battle of LA. LA equals 14. The Clippers can pick up their 14th away loss, and the Clippers would get their 21st loss for the season, and Lakers is 21, as is Jesuit. So, again, I got to ride the Lakers there. Plus, if the Clippers lose, they stay on 74 regular season wins against the Lakers in the 74th NBA season. And then in the Jazz-Pelicans game, Utah in 14 has always been good for us. So I got to take it again. Pelicans get the 14th home win over Utah, 14 on the 14 date numerology. Jazz pick up the 14th away loss on the 14 date. And aren't they kind of the villains right now because they had Rudy Gobert touching his hand over all the mics, joking about coronavirus, then he gets coronavirus, then the league suspended. Of course, it's all BS, but I got to ride the 14s there. And there was one other thing about that Jazz-Pelican series. Oh, yeah, it's that if the Pelicans win, they get their 24th win. And again, Kobe. So, again, it's a doubleheader on TNT, right? It's synced up with the death of Kobe. And you could have a 24th theoretically in both games, right? You know they're going to be talking about Kobe all night. I'm sure there's going to be a moment of silence for Kobe at the game. So Lakers could get the 24th home win. Pelicans can get their 24th win against the Jazz. So I gotta ride those things tonight. But like I said, I haven't called any games for a while, and I want to shake off some rust. So I'd be conservative tonight. At the same time, I'd be happy to throw down a $5 parlay on the basketball games and the handful of baseball games we had. Because if you lose, who cares? But if you win, $5 turns into 100 and some bucks. But again, if you got here late, watch this live stream through. Watch where I get to the point where I talk about the Jesuit numbers that are really killing it right now in UFC. And to watch for these patterns when the Jesuit numbers come up, in addition to what we already know about the way sports are rigged with the date numerology and the team name Gematria. And again, you got to look for those sideways riddles. Like yesterday was International Tiger Day. So, and I'm sorry you guys weren't all aware it was International Tiger Day. I really have talked about it all year, especially in the earlier part of the year, to circle July 29th, watch these rituals. Of course, the Tigers went on International Tiger Day, and that tripped some people up yesterday because Tigers equals 33, and that's normally a consistent pattern with them, the Tigers in 33, but yesterday it didn't happen because it was International Tiger Day. So, again, those are the little curveballs you got to be looking for. And, there was one more thing I wanted to say. I liked what the caller said earlier about the finals possibly ending on October 3rd, but look, the finals begin on September 30th, so I don't think it's going to be possible for them to end on October 3rd. They're scheduled to end October 12th. So hold on, before I go, let's just let's look at some things real quick. So game 1 is September 30th. We're going to look in a few different ways. We're going to look from Kobe's death. So that's 248 days after Kobe's death, 8 months and 4 days. Start date of the finals. It's not doing a lot for me. Let's just see what Game 7 would be. Game 7 would be 260 days after the number of books in the number of chapters in the New Testament. And again, this whole thing has to do with the Bible, because remember, Kobe's death was foreshadowed in the cartoon Chamberlain Heights, and it came out on 16/11. Like the King James Bible came out in 1611, and then King James, LeBron passed Kobe in points scored in Philly the day before Kobe died, and Philly gets its name from Revelation. So that's interesting that it's 260 days. Plus 260 is a lot like 26, right? Bryant 26. So this is the potential Game 7, and for the person calling in from South Carolina right now, call me back in a minute. I just want to finish going through some things, but I'll look for your call. Call me in like 5 minutes. Okay, so that would be Game 7. And the start of this NBA season was October 22nd, 2019. So from the start of the season to the theoretical end. Well, okay, check this out. If it ended on October 12th, the span from the start to the end, it would be almost a year, right? Crazy. What are they going to do about next NBA season? Anyway, 51 weeks. What's 51? Helicopter. Remember Fresh Prince, Will Smith? 51 years old at the time. Helicopter, 51. Remember Conspiracy is 51 and 123. The Fresh Prince A Bel Air is 123, and Kobe died 123 days after Will Smith's 51st birthday. So that's also interesting that it would be 51-week season. Whoops, hit the wrong button there. Okay, so in October 12th, let me think, that leaves, was that leave 84 days left in the year? Is that right? Let me double check that. October 12th? Oh, no. It leaves 80 days left in the year. Ah, Bryant equals 80. So does Boulay. Bryant is 80. Boulay's 80. Martin Luther King Jr., member of the Boulay, died 80 days after his birthday. Kobe's death had everything to do with the Boulay. So going to Game 7 looks very, very possible. Very possible, October 12th. And what didn't we measure from so far? We can measure from the suspension and LeBron's birthday. Did I close the calculator? Whoops. Okay. So this league was suspended March 11th, October 12th. Ah, that's the Philadelphia area code right there. So from the league suspension to October 12th is 215 days. That's the Philadelphia area code 215. And again, that's the theme this year. The codes we live by with the area codes where they have Philadelphia and 215 front and center. Okay. And from LeBron's birthday, December 30th. 41 weeks exactly. 41 weeks exactly from LeBron's birthday to October 12th. Kobe Bryant, 41, dead at 41, in the helicopter for 41 minutes, plus all the other 41s with Kobe's career. I'd say that's very, very possible that the finals go to that date. And I'm going to measure from Kawhi Leonard, too, real quick. Remember he won the MVP for the All-Star game that was all about Kobe. And I forget what his birthday is. June something, I think. How come I cannot see? Oh, there it is. June 29th. All right, let's see. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's the Lakers, but when I saw that Kobe's dad played for the Clippers and Philly, I was like, God, what if they did that? That would kill me. Well, from Kawhi's birthday to October 12th is 105 days, which is the 14th triangular. It's also a span of 106, which is a big number, a lot with Philadelphia, so that's interesting. But no doubt he'll be part of the narrative. We said before the season even began, we suspected the Western Conference Finals would be Lakers and Clippers. I still think that's structured a little bit better there with LeBron, so we'll be talking a lot more about it in the near future. I'll get back to regular sports decoding. I'm never going to go 7 days a week again because that was just overkill, but we'll start doing a lot more sports decoding here. And I just wanted to talk about things and get people to see the larger picture and the rituals. Remember, the Jesuits are running the show, and it's connected MLB, basketball, NBA. And this upcoming NFL game, we might even be able to get the score right of this game. This one on the Jesuit date, September 27th. Not too far off. Again, the Vikings and the Titans. It's going to be a game that tells us everything. Let me see, is that week 3? Yeah, it is. Rams got a new logo, huh? The Washington. What is that? Just this game right here, you guys. On the Jesuit day, the Vikings versus the Titans, who are originally from Houston. This is all about George Floyd right here. So, again, George Perry Floyd, 201. The Jesuit Order, 201. Minnesota Vikings, 201. We're going to figure out something huge in this game. There's always huge rituals in week 3. I bet you this game tells us everything right here about the NFL season. So, we'll be working on all of it up until then, but just want to get these ideas out there so you guys can marinate on them and use your own creative thoughts. But we'll leave it there for now. See how we do with these riddles. And remember, these TNT doubleheaders, these ESPN doubleheaders, there's so often a theme between the two games. And the theme I see tonight is 24. Just how Utah, well, I should say New Orleans can get that 24th win against Utah. And notice Utah can get their 24th overall loss for the season too, right? So Utah could get their 24th overall loss. New Orleans could get their 24th all-time win against Utah. And the Lakers can get their 24th home win and become 24-8, the Kobe Bryant numbers. And just to close with the devil's advocate narrative, if the Lakers did lose at home, they'd be 23-9 at home, which again are Philadelphia numbers. Philadelphia 239 Arch Street. But I don't think so. But again, I just want to remind people of this ritual from years ago. LeBron James in Jewish Gematria is 923, kind of like 23-9 in reverse. And you might recall years ago there was that train wreck in Philadelphia that was synced up with the finals and the release of LeBron's movie Trainwreck, and they said the train crashed in Philadelphia at 9:23 p.m. So they've been doing these rituals with LeBron and Philly since before it even happened to Kobe this year. But again, and that's because he has the biblical connection, and Philadelphia gets its name from the Bible. So just to be aware of if it did happen, if the Clippers upset the Lakers, but I don't think so. I think it's about the Kobe smacking you right in the face with the 24-8, a little more than a span of 26 days from upcoming Kobe Bryant Day in LA on August 24th. So, all right, True Seeker, I think it's all there, and there he is. I was gonna say, call me back. He's right there. What's up? What's up?
All right. To go back on that 10-3 date I gave you, like I said, the finals is going to end, but it's obviously not going to end. It's going to end 10-12. But from the start of the finals till Kobe's birthday, you measured that already?
From Kobe's birthday, August 23rd to September 30th?
Yeah, to the start of the finals.
That would be 37 days later, right? Like Los Angeles 37, like Bryant 37?
Uh-huh.
Oh, okay.
And from George Floyd's burial, 6-9, till that date is 76. Hold on. Let me see it again. 7 weeks, 6 days, I think. 6-9 to 6.
Here, I'll plug it in and see real quick. June 9th. You're sure he was buried that day?
No. I mean, it's 113 days.
Ah. You're positive he was buried that day?
Yeah, he was buried
okay.
June
yeah.
9th. It was 55 date numerology. 6 plus 9 plus 2020.
Right, yeah. 113 days. Kobe Bryant 113. The National Basketball Association 113. Michael Jordan 113. Passed Michael Jordan in points scored 113 days after his birthday, yeah. And he did that in Minneapolis as well. Kobe passed Jordan 113 days after his birthday in Minneapolis against the Timberwolves.
Yep, and the date that the 76ers start the season is 8-1, like, Kobe Bryant 81, and it's 61 days till 8-1 to the start of the finals.
Oh, you're saying they're having the Sixers play their first game on August 1st?
Yep.
Well, we know what they did with that. That's a good one right there. So,
yeah, from August 1st till the start of the finals is 61 days. Philadelphia 61.
Hold up.
Hold up.
Wait a minute. Oh, yeah, they play the Pacers. There it is. Okay. Yeah, the Pacers.
Yeah, I like Philly 76. I mean, 76ers and Lakers are looking possible.
Well, again, the way they've structured this comeback and it connected with the LA and the Philly area code, and now we see it with the Game 7 too. It's all right there. I'm not personally confident in what the finals is going to be anymore because of everything that's happened. At the beginning of the year, there was that massive ritual with the Lakers and the Bucks perfectly following each other, mirroring each other. We were getting it right on with what was happening with those teams. It was all synced with the finals. And then I was like, and then when Kobe's daughter died, Gianna, which sounds like Giannis or Giannis, the Bucks star, and how LeBron and him were the captains of the All-Star team. I mean, that riddle's still there because, again, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar played for the Lakers and Bucks, and Abdul-Jabbar equals 74. It's the 74th NBA season. He leads the league in points scored. So I'm not throwing out the Lakers-Bucks stuff because that all happened, but since then, everything that they've done in the time of the league being paused seems to be pointing to Lakers and Philly, but now I got Arthur coming out saying it's going to be Lakers and Celtics. And And I'm a little. I gotta give Arthur his respect because he did see the Raptors thing last year, and so his work with the Lakers and Celtics is interesting. But man, I don't know with all the area code stuff. So I'll keep brainstorming on it. But
and look at one more thing. From Kobe Bryant's memorial to the start of the finals is 7 months and 6 days. Another 70
from the February 24th thing. Okay.
Yeah, from February 24th, from his memorial to that day is 7 months and 6 days.
And let's not forget that was the 55th day of the year, and then that's one of our other King James values. So we have all this King James stuff going on.
Hey man, 55 is appearing a lot. George Floyd.
Right, Minneapolis 55. Kobe died on the 257th day of the Boulet's age, which is the 55th prime. Los Angeles Lakers equals 257, the 55th prime. So
we need to think about this too, Zach. The Lakers have 49 wins. So if they win 6 games in this 8-game regular season, that'll be 55 wins.
Well, that'd be interesting if they won 6 out of the last 8, because they'd be 6-2, and then that would factor in with Minneapolis 62 and Floyd 62. So yeah, I could see it.
Yeah. So when you gonna do sports again anyway?
Well, I'm doing it right now.
I mean, I know you're doing it right now, but I'm like talking about like.
Sure. So I just have a few more things that I totally need to finish up, getting the book shipped out, and I'm working on a really short, just like 10-page book with illustrations, like a meme book of what's gone on this year. I'll be all done with all that stuff real soon, and then I'll be back to my normal schedule. And like I said, I'm not going to start doing sports 7 days a week, but I'll come back and do it at least 3 days a week. And when we do it those 3 days, we'll talk about more than just the 3 days we're talking about, just like we're doing now. We'll look at the things going on in the week and try to pick out some gems. So
yes, and did you do the CNN founder's death on your page, on your Gematria News page?
Are you talking about Ted Turner?
No, not Ted Turner. It was the other guy, the other founder. He died at age 88.
I didn't know that happened. When did that happen?
2 days ago, the 28th.
I didn't even know that happened.
Yeah, he was founding president, equals 88. He was 88 years old when he died. Dang, I can't believe I forgot his name, but his name equaled 156. July the 28th was the 156th day of the year. It had 75 date numerology, 7 plus 28 plus 2020, and his name equals 75.
Okay. Yeah, I'll go back and check it out. And Jewish is 88, so that tells half the story, but... All right, man.
Yeah, but, all right. Thank you for the knowledge, man.
Yeah, welcome. All right, take care.
Peace.
Okay. I think we summarized everything we've reviewed, and we'll see what happens tonight, so... I'll probably pop back on tomorrow. We'll probably do another one tomorrow because I just want to talk about what happens tonight. We're going to see clues in the scores and everything, so we're going to learn things tonight. But all right, I got to go dig up some links, Rod, Victor, and I got to find the man who's doing the PGA because at least one of you is interested. So, and again, he's just reaching out to me and telling me he's nailed the last 4 PGA tournaments. I can't vouch for it beyond that because I don't know myself, but he's like, please help me out. I swear I'm going to help people out with the PGA. I got something major figured out. So I will promote it for people who are interested. And yeah, look for that post here in a moment. So let me say hello to the chat real quick as well. That's true with the Lakers and the water and Minnesota, the land of 10,000 lakes and all the water symbolism. And because even that Naya Rivera thing, she's in that old B2K music video, and the guys are all dancing around in Kobe Bryant jerseys. Okay. All right. Looks like you guys are talking about all sorts of stuff right now. Let's see. Let me see. I'm just scanning the chat. Okay. All right. I'm just scanning. Oh yeah, there's a Mike Tyson fight coming up. We'll look at that later. We'll look at that later, so we don't overdo it today. What's up, Jay Easy? All right, you guys, we'll leave it there. I'll get those links up, and we'll reconvene tomorrow to talk about what happened today. So until next time.